Welcome to our tutorial on inputs and output operation in C programming. In this video, we'll explore how to interact with the user and external devices through various inputs and output commands. Get ready to unlock the power of input and output operations in C programming. Let's start first by understanding how to make or how to take input from the user. And with this, there are several commands that are available for different scenarios. Let's take a look at some of the examples. And in all the scenarios, I have already written some codes in which I'll open, we discuss, or I'll just make a tutorial of it. Then we run and we see how we go about it. So the first command we'll be considering is the scanf. All right. So in this, which is scanf, right? This code is used to read user input. So let me just open another tab here, then we view the codes in this, and then we run it in this as well. Now, as we've already understood the structure, we have our main, the int age, and then in this program, we want to take the user's age, all right? So the user is going to give it to us as an input, easy. So we use this scanf over here, scanf, and we are specifying the format in which the age will be in. So this print here prints on the screen and tells the user, give me your age. Then the scan here will now pick anything you have in the standard input, that is either the screen or whatever the input source may be. Then after it has been printed, after it has been received, it is what printed as your age is what you've given or what you've provided. So let's run this and then see how that is going to be. So that is JCC and the name of our file, which is scan, and then output. So if we run that, as you can see, it says enter your age, right? So let's say you enter your age and say you are 24, you enter and it says your age is 24. The main, let me run it again. So as we are writing, let me say you now want to write 26 or 16. The user or the scanf takes this 16 you've put there and then now gives it to the next command, which is now printed. I hope that is well understood. That is one way you can take inputs from readers. There's another scenario where you would just want to read a line of a text, right? A line, just a line of a text. And to do that, we use the fgets. Fgets. So I have a code on that and I want us to look at how it is. So for this also, it says enter your name, right? So the name would be in, let me say, 3 letters. And it's 3 words. And that's an example of a line of text. So you say fgets, all right? And then we specify the variable we are talking about. So over here, we named our variable as name. So fgets is taking our variable. And then what is its size? We want its complete size. For the functions of this size of standard input and all that, I wouldn't explain it in this video. We would fully explain that in other videos. But for now, we should just understand the fact that fgets is used to take what is used to read lines of text. So we specify that fget should take the name, and the name is given to us from the standard input. So if we save and then exit this file, and we come in here, we say gcc fgets -o fgets, and we enter. We run and see. And it says we should enter our name. So let's say I called John Paul. If you enter that, it says hello John Paul. Right? So it's the fget that would take this line of text, which is the John Paul you see over here, and then it gives it to the print to print over here. Then one other way we can take input from users is using the getChar or getCharacter, in short, getChar. So with that tool, let's just look at an example we have here. Now for the getChar, it just takes a single character. So let me say Y for yes, N for no. So we print enter your choice. You have specified some options for a user and you want the user to input his or her choice. It could be yes or no, T for true, F for false, and all that. In our code here, we have what? Choice. That is equated to get the character, right? So for instance, if we are to run this, and we say gcc getChar, if we enter, what does it say? If we run it now, it says enter your choice. There's an example. So with this, if we enter Y, it says your choice is Y. But let's choose to write let's choose to write YES and see. And see, it only takes the first character. DC. Yes. So that is what basically the getChar does. So in these examples, we've demonstrated different input commands. First being the scanf command that is used to read input as formatted data. Then fget is useful to reading a line of text. And getChar allows us to read just a single character from a user. Now we are moving on to output commands, and then we would see how we can display information to the user or save it to external files. And from our previous, or from the ones we've just done, I hope you've even seen some output commands as well. But in this, let's explore them. C provides useful output command that allows us to print data and then write into files. And here are a few examples. The first one we'll consider, which is famously used, is the printf. So printf is just used to display formatted outputs. So let's see the code I've written here. And we say what? An integer name is what? Name, num, which is 10. And the value of num is, this is the formatted output here. There are strings, there are D, there are so many types of formatted output, but since we are taking the get, we let it be D. And we say so you should take it from num, whatever is stored in it. So for this, if we are to run it, the name of the file once again was printf. So if you are to run that and output, what does it say? It says the value of the number is 10. And that is from what we did over here, right? So basically, printf is just used to print formatted outputs, all right? So let's exit and we go to another output command. The next one is puts, P-U-T-S, and puts is used to print a string to the console. So just as scanf goes with printf, right? Scanf goes with printf. What do you think goes with puts? That would be getChar, right? So the same way puts is, it's used to print a string. No, puts is used to print a string. So in that case, we'll say puts then goes with our second one, which was what? fgets, which reads a line, right? So puts goes with our second one, which reads a line. Let me take that again. In our input, we first discussed the scanf. In our output, we discussed what? The printf. You realize that they are just opposites of the other, right? And we came to fgets, that reads a line of text, right? Now to input a line of text, then we use what? fputs, right? So let's try a program that explains that, and then we see how we can go about it. So let me just VI into the program written. And we are saying what? The character we want to display is what? Welcome. Now, I think I've opened the wrong file. So VI puts. All right. So the character or the string we want to display to the console is what? Hello world. And as you can see, we've named it to a variable here, message. So message is an array that equals hello world. And we just want to print that out using puts, right? So we are printing the string to the console, right? So if we are to compile that and then run, we have gcc, then puts -o puts. If we enter and run that, you are going to get what? Hello world, as simple as that. Then another command which is worth noting is fputs, right? Fputs is used to write a string to a file. Okay, so let's just open the code we have for the fputs. And we see what it does. So for this code, for instance, this here, we'll talk about that soon. But the most important thing we want to consider is this line here. So we are saying if the file exists, all right, then it should just input the message into the file. And the message is what? Welcome, as you can see over here. And then it should close the file. So with this, let's run. And we says the file should be named what? Output.txt, and should be opened in writable format. All right. So let's see how that works. So to test what this file can do, or this program can do, let's just compile and then run and see. So fputs, and as you can see, nothing has happened, right? But let me list and we see. So we told it to write into the file output.txt. So let me just cut output.txt. Then as you can see, welcome has been written into it. Let me VI into output.txt again. Sorry, output.txt. And let's just delete whatever we have here. Then run our code again to see if it would really write into it. So once again, cut output.txt. And as you can see, if I VI into output.txt, you can see your welcome has been written in it. So this time around, instead of displaying our output onto the screen, we rather want to write it into a text. And that is what the fputs does. In this example, we've explored different output commands. The first one being printf command, which allows us to display formatted output to the screen. Puts, which prints a string to the console. And fputs, which is used to write a string to a file. Lastly, we'll explore file handling command, which enable us to read from and write to external files. File handling is essential for working with external data, and here are some few examples. So our first example will be the fopen. So VI into fopen, and as you can see in this code, this fourth line here does what? It opens a file called data.text in a read format. Right, so this here says if the file exists, then the file should open successfully, then read and write operations can be performed, and then afterwards it should close. So the most important thing we are considering here is the fopen we have over here, which is allowing us to open the file data.text. So let's run that. gcc our file name fopen. So if we enter that and then run, what do we have? Now let me list and see what we have in fopen. Do we have, sorry, in data.text. So do we even have the file data.text? Since we do not have, let's create data.text. So vi data.text, and in it, let me write this is a test file to test the fopen command. We are using the mode to do that. So let's save and exit, and then run the command again. Now, with this now, if we go back to our command, we told it to do what? Open for us. Then if it exists, it should open successfully and then close. But after opening it in read format, we haven't told it to display any text for us. And for that, you won't see any illustration on that. The next one to consider is the fclose, which is used to close a file. And it is advisable that anytime you open a file using fopen, then you should logically close it as well, especially to save memory, right? So just as in this same file, we use fopen to open our existing data.text in read mode. Whatever operation we want to use that file for, all right? If we finish, we just use the fclose to close it to save memory and then continue with whatever we have to do. In these examples, we've explored different file handling commands: the fopen command, which is used to open a file, the fclose, which is used to close it as well. And these commands allow us to perform read or write operations on files. By combining these input and output commands, you can create powerful and interactive programs in C. In this video, we've covered various input and output commands in C programming. We've learned how to take input from users, display output to screens, and work with external files as well. These concepts are fundamental to creating dynamic and interactive programs. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel for more programming tutorials. Happy coding and have a nice day.